Okay, guys, it's your host, James Santor. I'm here with a very special guest. I got Levi Holliday, better known as Lewis Donner. My dude, how are
What's
you?
up, man? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate it, dude.
Of course, man. So you probably heard the new intro music today. That is the man himself right here. Um, Lou, I mean, I've known you since I think that's middle school, kind of like middle school, high school, growing up in South Jersey, man. It's so funny how everything comes back, and now we're talking right now on a freaking podcast. Who would have thought?
Bro, it's full circle for sure. I love it. But that's what it's all about, dude. That's what it's all about. Growing up and then you kind of take it back full circle. Everybody's growing up. You see what everybody's up to, and at the end of the day, we're all just gonna chill and talk sports, probably. So
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's one of those things too. Like my favorite part about like the small platform we have with Skyline Spew is that like I love to like shout out my boys. Like, and you're just one of my boys, somebody I've always liked and respected, whether it be like talking sports or like following your music career. Like it's always been something that I've wanted to be able to do. So it's just great to be able to talk with you and just proud of you and everything you've been doing with your music. So I think it's gonna be a really cool conversation we're gonna have. And first I really want to hear it. I think we need to tell people about Lemonade and how that happened in high school, man. Because like I'll never forget when that dropped. Because and for those of you who don't know, Gucci Mane, Lemonade, absolute banger. Now Lou took that to a whole nother level and absolutely destroyed the South Jersey rap scene with it. So tell us the backstory, because again, these are days without SoundCloud, really without a platform to have to go to. So you were kind of ahead of the game, but you really dominated the rap game in South Jersey with that song.
for better or for worse, man. Yeah, no. But yeah, so Lemonade. We're gonna bring it all back. That was my first song. For people that don't know, I think pretty much the whole concept behind Lemonade is, that song dropped, the Gucci Mane song dropped. It kind of blew up. I really liked the beat a lot. It was bouncy. But what I really was trying to do, to be honest with you, is just like copycat Big Sean, who was just coming up at the time.
Yep.
So I don't know, how many people on this would know this, but Big Sean did a remix to Lemonade. That, when he was coming up, he was really just a bars for bars guy. Like, and that is his lane, right? Is like, punchline rap. So I was like, all right, this is fun, this is funny. I love rap. I've always loved rap. A big thing with my new album is kind of like looking back on all these times. Now I'm an only child, so like I spent a lot of time by myself, chilling in my room, all that. And like, what are you doing? You're playing video games or doing something else that you're passionate about. And that's really what I fell into, is making music. So, at the time with YouTube, you had people uploading instrumentals, creating instrumentals. So I found that. There was a buddy of mine. I don't know if he'll ever hear this, but shout out to this kid, Andrew Megri, who he knew how to record. So I went over to his place and we recorded it. Now, even before that, a different buddy of mine, we were down in his basement and I literally like rapped the words in a YouTube mic. And like, it's funny as hell thinking about it now, but just literally like on the, video chat rapping. And then, we put that on YouTube. So I released that. I started really promoting it, Jewish summer camp, making t-shirts, just Facebook at the time was where everybody was at. And just like posting this stuff on Facebook. I had kids in, school trying to like rap battle me back and stuff. And like, for better or for worse, there's still so many kids today that will come up to me and say, oh, Louis D Lemonade, you're Louis D Lemonade. Yeah. And they took the Louis D artist name and actually made it Louis D Lemonade somehow. So, I love it. I kind of take it as like, there's some staying power to that. And yeah, the rest is kind of history, man. So.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And I think, I kind of grew up the same way. I wasn't the only child, but like music was my thing. Even from a young age, I remember like the first time I heard like a Will Smith rap song, I was like, this is awesome. Because I didn't want to listen to what my parents listened to. I always wanted to kind of listen to something different. And rap music specifically always kind of gave me like that different perspective on life, that I was a suburban white kid. Like that's just who I was. And I was always like, this voice that they're giving and this beat and everything was just so much different. I loved it. So like, I think like in that sense, when I saw you be able to do that and take a Gucci Mane song and put your own twist on it, and it sounded so freaking good, I was like, this is awesome. Like, I just respect the hell out of this dude, especially because like, I think we had first met in like in 8th grade at like a bar mitzvah or something. Like it was one of those things. Like we met, we were like probably talking sports or something at the bar mitzvah dance floor or eating like chicken fingers or something. And now we're doing this. So it's funny again, like music really does bring people together in different ways. And again, I think what you've been able to do now as an adult with a job, and you're still being able to just put out jams, like it's so impressive.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, looking back on like growing up with music too, like I'll still rap like Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP or Eminem Show with like the edited like which in there, you know, like with all the curse words because like I just like that's what I'm used to, right? Like
Yeah.
I memorized that stuff on my CD player. It was like that and Band-Aid Nelly. And like
Oh
those were my guys like with the CD player, bro. Just like on the bus, whether to school or camp or whatever, like catch me with my CD player and that was it. So for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. I remember, so obviously rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, but Nipsey Hussle was a guy that I like fell in love with before he really blew up in eighth grade during eighth grade baseball season. I remember I had my iPod video. I downloaded every single Nipsey Hussle video and song on it. And that was my pregame playlist. And like Nipsey, I remember like every Nipsey song. So like obviously when he passed, I went back to the archives, man, and I was just playing all that. And it's like I remember everything. I remember where I was when I was listening to this songs the first time. And like it does stay with you. Like there's something different about music that it's you can't find it in really anything else. Even sports sometimes. Like music has a lasting power because I think music in sports and honestly anything else, there's music really, if it's something in their personal life, something in your family life, something with your friends, whatever it is, there's a song for it. And I think that's what makes music so special.
100%, man. 100%. I think even us, like growing up with a guy like Allen Iverson as our idol, I think is like different. Just being a kid growing up in Philly is different than maybe if you were a kid growing up elsewhere because AI, like even you'll hear every NBA star today will be like, that's the guy who like brought the culture together. Right.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Yeah, it's so funny too, because I don't know if you remember the podcast Mixtape, the Barstool podcast, but Mixtape's intro song was an Allen Iverson song. And I was like, this song is freaking awesome. I had no clue it was Allen Iverson. And then I like looked it up and I was like, there's no way. And I look on YouTube and it's literally Allen Iverson. And I was like, I didn't know he had the music chops like that.
Bro, Iverson, Artest had an album, I remember. Shaq had an album. Like,
Kobe, rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, bro. I mean, like they weren't wearing those big suits and not coming out with a rap album. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but again, we got to grow up with that. You know, it's different.
Right.
And yeah, we'll talk about who the best rap artist is in the NBA later on. But
you got it.
One of the things that I want to talk about, and I think this is something that you are doing so well right now. So you've come back out. Your new rap name is Levi Holliday, and you really have changed your approach. And I think it's really cool the way you're doing it because I think we've seen these last few years, it's really a convergence of genres. I don't think there's no limit to a genre anymore. I freaking love that because I used to only listen to rap music and people are always like, dude, how do you just listen to the same thing over and over again? I said, I liked rap music, but now I've kind of felt myself going to a different route of, I really like R&B. I like alternative. Obviously I still love rap, but sometimes like my favorite songs are when they're all mixed. And I think that's what you're personally doing a great job of right now. So like, what's the ethos behind that? Why are you going that route and how have you found success so far?
Yeah. So I think, for me, it's a couple reasons, right? Like for one, it's an influence thing. So, I grew up as much as I listen to rap music, I listen to your Sublimes and your reggae music, going to concerts, your Dave Matthews bands, things like that. I'm a huge classic rock fan, like diehard, where I've seen The Who, I've seen Pink Floyd. So like you have that influence. And then there's the whole 90s, all your Blinks, your Chili Peppers, all those guys that like, if you ask me who I'm listening to today, it's those artists just as much as it is, hip hop, right? So I think for me, it's that influence of the music I've grown up on. But also, I mean, to your point, I think for me coming back and making music even, because this is going to be, my first debut album of music that I've dropped in probably almost a decade or so now. But, looking at the artists like your Post Malones and your Black Bears and your guys that have like really bridged the gap. And then even a guy like you mentioned Nipsey Hussle, like for me, that was Mac Miller, where you listen to his earlier work and you listen to his later work and they're just completely different things. But you look at how that artist, the growth that happened there, and it's a very natural thing, like as you get older and stuff like that. So it's that as well, man. It's an influence from those artists. And it's also like seeing some other artists listen to it. And I'm like, man, like I really like that. And not only that, but I think I can do this and put my own spin on this. And like, not even in like an arrogant way whatsoever. But I think with rap, you always are going to have that little bit of braggadocio and a little bit of like, you know, I got to put my feet down on the ground and show why I'm here. And like for me with this, it just felt very genuine to incorporate that music as well. So,
And it takes balls to do that, right? Like, I mean, I'd love to rap. I don't have the balls to do it. Like, I said it on another podcast. Like, that's one of my goals is to like actually make a song. Like, I listen to music literally all day. I love it, and I just haven't had the guts to actually put out a song yet because I am getting better with this, but I'm worried about, you know, anybody giving me crap for it. So you've been able to do this, and not only have you not worried about that, but you've had success and like critical acclaim from your peers, and I think that is so impressive. And you know, I think we talked prior to the show about, you know, Lil Dicky's influence on you. And can you explain some of that? Because I think that is a really cool perspective that you said to me. And I think that will kind of really ring true to the people listening to the show about why you're doing this. And I think it's just really cool.
yeah. So, I mean, for those that don't know, you know, Lil Dicky, comedy hip hop rapper from Cheltenham, PA. So another guy kind of from our area here.
Yep.
But really, I mean, it was from his TV show, Dave, where it's like, you know, what I want people to understand is this is Lewis Donor talking, right? Like, this is not Levi Holliday. Like, I don't want my aunts, uncles, grandparents calling me Levi Holliday. I don't want my best friends calling me Levi Holliday. What Levi Holliday really is like a, you know, name for me to say, okay, like here, I can put my stuff out and put my music out.
Persona,
And not
right?
like, it's a persona. Exactly. It's a persona. And like the best way to say it too is that, okay, like I can go and be this persona and not necessarily be somebody else. Cause right, like I'm still going to have my influence on this and stuff. But I even think it helps other people separate me from the music. Right. Because when you're listening to my music, I don't, you know, I'll tell you what, when I play people some songs from my new album, they're like so surprised because they're like, wow, like I really like this. But I think if they had listened to it and didn't know it was me, it wouldn't even necessarily be surprised. They'd just be like, oh, I actually just really like this because of the music itself. Right. So I
Yep.
think being able to separate yourself from that persona is a part of it. And it's also about like that selling power. So, you know, whoever sees this knows us, whatever, you hit me up. Make sure you call me Lewis still because I definitely am Lewis still at the end of the day. This is the music project. So
Yeah, and you make a great point too. I think a lot of people, especially people that reach like those really high levels of fame, they struggle with that, and they kind of eventually wish that they had just that normal name back, that people didn't associate them with their persona. But eventually, it gets to a point where, again, Drake is Drake. He's not Aubrey Graham, right? Like nobody knows him as Aubrey Graham. I doubt his friends are still saying that. But I think the way you're thinking about it is so cool because, again, you are you, and you're a successful dude. You're living a great life, but you also have this creative way about you that you're able to put out music that is just like bringing out what's inside of you. And it's so cool because, again, I wish I could do that. I'm envious of your ability to go out there and do it. So it's like, you know, it's really amazing that you're able to kind of separate that and have the self-awareness to do so.
yeah, thank you, man. And like what you said with the rapping, like that's how I felt about singing before this
Yeah.
project, right? Is like I knew I wanted to incorporate like singing and like show that I can sing a little bit, but most people just think of me as a rapper and stuff. So, you know, I think singing is something where like for me, I wrote a lot of this project in the pandemic. So, you know, the album coming out, it's called Boy Bops. Really what that is for me is a way to say, okay, I want to show people like where does this music live, right? When you think of like your Post Malone, your Black Bear, like artists that I've mentioned there, right? It has that kind of like sad aesthetic to it, but like they're still having a good time and partying as well. And like
Yep.
for me, what I'm doing is almost taking my own, you know, come up, my own growing up as an only child and saying like, okay, I'm gonna turn that into a bop. When I say a bop, I mean like, okay, like this song, you're like, wow, this is catchy, wow, this bangs, but like there'll be that deeper message to it. So, you know, that's really what it is at the end of the day is like the last thing I want people is to, you know, click on this album and be like, damn, like this kid is so sad. Or like go into this thinking that like you need to like shut the light off, right? And then like, you know, be in your own space when you listen to this. Like there will be a couple tracks like that for sure. But what I'm trying to do is really set the aesthetic too as like a new upcoming artist to say, this is where this music lives. Like I'm not Post Malone and I'm not Black Bear and I'm not, you know, that artist. but like I think their fans would really like this, and it's a easy way for me to kind of say, all right, like come check this out.
Yeah, and I think like it's a good thing too that it's not necessarily for like closing the door, turning the lights off, and just sitting there. Like that's again, sad boy bops may be misleading to those that don't hear you just say that, because it's like if you think about a sad boy bop, and that's what you're thinking, like, oh, I'm in my feelings, I'm gonna go sit up there and chill. But like the songs are what you make of them, because I've heard a few of them that you've sent me, and they're not. I don't want to go shut the door and do that. Like some of them are upbeat and make me again the intro song, which I'd love to kind of hear your take on how you came up with Back Up, because first I love the freaking beat, and I love that it's our intro song now, because it's special. Again, the fact that I know you and I'm able to put that as my intro, it's great. But like every song has its own, especially the ones that you sent me, they have their own feel to them. They're different, and I can kind of like associate them with different feelings. And I think that's my favorite thing about music, is that I have playlists for every single type of thing I'm feeling. And it changes every freaking day. It could change multiple times throughout a single day. So I think that's like really special that you're able to figure that out on especially your reintroductory album.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, first of all, I appreciate that. Thank you. And second of all, thinking of a song like Back Up and kind of how it fits, because like you hear that song in it, like I played this song in my friend's car and like we blew out his speaker. You know what I mean? Like
I'm a huge bass guy, so
yeah. So I mean, I heard this beat and like it definitely has that like the baby influence a little bit to it. And like for this type of song, going back to almost thinking of that Lil Dicky analogy we made earlier, it's like when I'm rapping, like I don't want people to listen to this and just be like, I can't see this at all, right? So when I'm rapping or I'm like coming up with lyrics and coming up with different stuff, like I'm trying to think of it from a different perspective where like I think people think a lot of those Lil Dicky raps are hot because they're so different, right? So the song Back Up, it's like it's almost like it's a play on words. It's a triple entendre in a way. Like I feel like I'm back up, as in I'm back in a way for those who knew me as Louis D. And then also that like you'll hear in the song that I'm not a backup, meaning like, I'm the starter essentially, right? That sports reference, we go back to sports, things like that. But when you write the words to back up and stuff, and I'm like thinking about, okay, what I want to do, it's that braggadocio from that sad boy aspect. Like I'll say like, even when I'm sad as fuck, there's really no comparing, stuff like that, where it's like, understand that like being the man is not being fake, right? That's really what I'm trying to come at here and say is like, when I'm bragging in this song, I'm bragging about how like crazy that corporate president is in the back of my mind, but the backup plan, right? Which is like, as much as I would love to be corporate president of my company, it's a very, very long way up, long shot thing. But like at the end of the day, like what we're thinking about, and then like somebody just coming in and saying like fucking bitches and hoes all the time when they're not, is completely different thing.
Yeah.
So like that's really what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. Relatable. Yeah, and that's
exactly to a certain segment for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a big issue, especially like I remember growing up, my parents were always like, "Why are you listening to that? Like, there's nothing you're getting out of that." But to me, again, I was trying to make it my own, and not. I've never been like I love lyricists. I do love lyricists, and I think again, what you just described and expressing how that your song and how you kind of came to that song, and especially what you're saying about a corporate president, like for me, like that's our days. Like we're adults and we're in the business world, like. That's the type of stuff that we deal with. So hearing somebody talk about a song, and may not explicitly say it, but that's the thought process. And now like people know that when they're listening to it, it's going to make so many more people relate to that. And that's truly different than a lot of other rappers out there.
There's a lot of songs on this album that I was trying to make relatable. I think like this all stems actually when like a couple years ago, when I was trying to figure out like, all right, like if I want to make music again, I always said to myself, like, I'm never going to release music again unless I fully love and believe in like the project, and not even the project, like me and the concept and everything. But like, I don't know if you know the artist Action Bronson, right? Like he's a half chef, half artist, right? He's doing his show and stuff on Vice. He's hilarious. Like definitely one of my favorite guys, but like
Red Dot Music, one of my favorite songs.
Oh yeah. Just a classic for sure. But he went to Angelo's Pizza. Shout out Angelo's Pizza. Hope they recover from the fire soon. But I'm wearing their hat if you can't see, obviously. But I think of an artist like him, and it's like he literally raps about like sauteing things and cooking things, and I'm like, that makes me like him even more than like this pretending something that he's not type thing, right? So I need it to be genuine, this album. I need the music to be genuine. I need like me to be like, okay, like this is who I am in a way. And I think a lot of this stuff encompasses it, right? But at the same time, like it's about making catchy music and bars and lyrics and stuff like that. Like, you know, I have a line in back up that's like, you know, I do it frontwards, I do it backwards, fill in these holes like I'm Stanley. It's like, no, I'm not fucking 30 bitches. It's just like, I want you to think of, wow, like the book and movie Holes was dope back in the day. And that's a clever line, right? So like there's clearly that like line and element to it. And just like trying to understand that you're always kind of teetering a line between like fiction and reality. And it's when you can blend those things that I think you really, really have some really cool ideas and concepts to make music with. So
yeah. I'm definitely pulling that quote out because that is the true quote of an artist. And and you don't hear many people have that ability to say something like that, though. But that's from the heart, and that's what again makes it special that you've been able to do this. And I think it's so freaking cool, man. And before we wrap up, I have my rapid fire questions for you. That the first guest on the show is Malik Jackson, who plays for the Eagles. So you're number 2. So
wow, bro, that is a tough act to follow, you know, for sure. But yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All right, and then we'll go over kind of the social handles where people could find you because that's more important than anything else that I'm about to say. But
for sure,
MJ or LeBron?
Dude, it's MJ for me, for sure. I had a book when I was younger. It's like My Life as a Chicago Bull that like my dad got me when he was in Chicago on a business trip. And like, you know, I remember I went to a Sixers Wizards game with MJ and the Wizards. Like I grew up with like MJ is the icon. Now, like I have a ton of respect for LeBron, but it's MJ for me every day of the week, man. Like catch me watching The Last Dance still.
Hell of a freaking show. It was that like made, I don't even know what month that was at this point, but it was like, thank God we had that to look forward to for whatever it was, 5 weeks we had the chance to.
Oh yeah, it was great. Much needed.
Yeah. How many alarms do you set every morning?
All right. So I only set one, but I'm a big snoozer. Big snoozer. I found this one alarm like that. It's like a smart sleep thing where you like put it next to your head. It's supposed to tell you like how you're sleeping. Probably actually just giving myself like, you know, brain damage, whatever. But like, it's like a really quiet, like peaceful alarm where all the Apple ones, I think, do not give me that. So I do this and then it snoozes like every 5-10 minutes or so. So I probably hit the snooze about 3 times, but it's like a quieter alarm that wakes you up type thing. So I don't know. I probably set my alarm too early, to be honest. But it's one alarm and then the snooze. Now, like I used to work for a company where I would literally be like afraid to be late. That was like a 3 alarm. Like I'm definitely not messing this up. But like, you know, I live with my girlfriend now. She'll be up. So it's one alarm for me.
Gotcha. Good answer. I mean, the gradual wake up is something that I feel like I hear a lot of people say. So that's yeah. But you better watch. Yeah, you better watch next to your head though, because you're gonna get cancer from that right next to you.
You know, they got me in though when they're telling me like the percentage of like how good my sleep was and like, you know, seeing all this stuff with it. It's like, dude, all this stuff with tech now is like I'm all in on all that stuff because I'm a big data guy. Like I love like, you know, golf and sports betting and sports analytics and things like that where, you know, I'm looking at this statistical stuff and making decisions on it. So, and it's also with work, like I work in marketing. So like for me, I'm doing business marketing where it's like, why are we using this, you know, envelope or, you know, creative or whatever. So anything I can see like a statistical analysis of, I'm all in with for sure.
I'm the same way, man. It's the life we live. I'm in marketing and analytics and sports tech too. So like we're in the same worlds and it definitely makes you think about every little thing differently and the data and analytics behind it. Like you said, golf. Oh my God, I'm all about that. Even though I suck beyond words.
Dude, I've been seeing the stories with the golf balls, bro. Keep it up. Yeah, we'll have to golf soon, for sure.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. All right. Who's more famous? This is in the world.
Okay.
LeBron or Justin Bieber?
I'm going to say LeBron, actually. I think LeBron has gotten so big because, like, he's starring in movies. Like, I've never seen Justin Bieber star in a movie. And I may be wrong. Like, somebody might be
had a movie. I bet when we were in, like, high school, we had a movie. This is when he was still, like, had, like, the long hair. Like, he was still, like, the pop star. And then before he switched to the bad boy life. But, yeah, so he did. But it's not like a movie we would have gone and seen, you know? Like, I'd go see a LeBron movie. I'm going to go see Space Jam or stream it, whatever.
Well, LeBron's making movies too.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Justin Bieber. I was the kid that was like secretly like listening to One Time on the bus, just like, yo, this is hot. But like, he lost me there for a while, and then when he started hitting that like tropical house scene again,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is different. Like, I really like this. When he was, what do you mean, sorry? Like, I remember being at college and just like looking around at every girl dancing that song and be like, Bieber has something here. Like, keep doing this. And then he dropped Love Yourself, and it was like a bomb exploded.
Yeah, dude, I'll freely admit that I had some Bieber albums on my iPod, like as recent as like 3 or 4 years ago, and they're bangers. And when they come up on stuff, no. I'm always excited. I'm like, all right, this guy's got
Bieber is the man. Bieber is the man. Like, there's nothing anti-Bieber about this. It's just, I think from a global stage, it's like, Justin Bieber, you could say Bieber, that will work, but like LeBron is a one-name guy at this point. It's like Oprah, LeBron.
Yeah, I always say China, if you go to China and the Chinese population is massive, they all know who LeBron is. They idolize LeBron. They're wearing his shoes. Nobody's wearing Justin Bieber shoes. So
that's facts, man. That is facts.
All right. And then last question here for you. This is very topical. Who is the best rapper in the NBA?
Best rapper in the NBA. I can tell you it's not Lonzo Ball. That's for sure. How
about sports? Let's do sports, because I think that's like kind of like a smaller market there. But give me sports. It could be current, could be past, whatever you think.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I think Dame Lillard can spit. Like, he actually can rap and is a good rapper. So I'd probably put him first, just top of mind here. I will say though too, like, Lou Williams released this song with Meek Mill called "I Want It All" like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I gotta shout out Lou Williams.
I remember that song.
Oh my god, dude! He dropped that song. I was like, this is fire. So, I mean, I think like actually like bar for bar, it's got to be Dame Lillard right now for sure. I think the other thing too is like, I know like Marvin Bagley raps now and stuff, and like there's other artists, but they do a lot of the like, just like heavy Uzi Vert auto-tune type music, a lot of them. And like, I gotta respect Dame, who's like literally going bar for bar. Like, I just love Damian Lillard too. Like, who doesn't love the underdog story of like the guard from Weber State who becomes the star of the league? So
dude, I love Dame too. I think it was one of those things when he first released a song, I was like, oh God, what's this gonna be like? And then I was like, wow, like this is legit. Like, this dude really and again, he's not rapping necessarily about basketball the whole time. He's rapping about his childhood. He's rapping about his being the underdog, and like, it sounds real. It sounds good. I mean, he has a song with Lil Wayne, I remember, from his first album, and I was like, solid. This is a really solid song. And I think he's growing too as an artist. And honestly, the Hulu commercial he has now, I love it too. Where it's like, so
Hulu has live sports.
Yeah. So
I will say underrated. Cravon LeBlanc of the Eagles, bro.
Strap,
I don't know if you know dude, Strap has some music, dude, and it's nice. Like, I never would have thought. I'm like, damn, this is Strap, but this is also a like re-signed Cravon LeBlanc type thing right now, because I'm a big Cravon LeBlanc guy, and the slot cheap. And just like, if you compare him to NRC this year, like, I don't think there's much of a difference at all. If not, Strap's even better. So go listen to some Strap, who I think he has some nice songs too for the football angle.
I mean, I'm all about Strap, man. Again, the nickname like Strap, the dude's just got a swag. Like, anytime he's out there and he makes a play, I just get so pumped up. And I feel like all of Philly gets pumped up too. So I love him.
Strap's a big Philly guy for sure.
Yeah. But all right, man. Well, dude, it was so good catching up. I'm so proud of you. So happy to have you on the show. And before you go, drop all your handles for the people so they can go find your stuff. Yeah, thank you, bro. I really, really appreciate it. So you can find me on Instagram at Levi Holliday Music. You can find me on Twitter at Levi Holliday _. And if you search Levi Holliday Music on YouTube, TikTok, you'll find me there as well. So definitely out there, go listen. I just dropped a new song called The Sticks. So that's my new single. Just dropped a lyric video for that as well. Kind of blends of like some country rap in there, bring us back to South Jersey for a second. And then I got a new song coming out in a couple of weeks called When I'm With You, which is kind of just like a good vibes bump track. So I really think people will like that as well. So definitely go give me a follow. I'll be happy to follow you back as well. And dude, I really, really appreciate the opportunity. And thanks for giving me the platform here with the podcast, dude. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm glad you love the song. And there'll be more coming, dude. There'll be more coming. So thanks again, dude. You're officially the song of Skyline Spew. So
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Well, I can't wait to have you back on when the album drops. So, Lou, it's been amazing catching up. Keep killing it. Everybody go follow Lou because he's really putting out some awesome stuff. And no matter what genre you like, he's got something for you. And as you heard during this interview, he puts a lot of passion and thought behind every song. And not a lot of people out there are doing that. So he's definitely someone to go follow and listen to. And he's a Skyline Spew recurring guest now, so you're obligated to come back on.
I will 100% be there whenever you guys need. So thanks a lot, dude.
Awesome, man. All right, for Skyline Spew, I'm James Santor. We'll be back soon. Have a good night.